During an argument, my wife screamed, "If you walk out that door, don't you dare come back." I said, "Understood." I walked out, blocked her number, and sold the house to an investor while she was still living in it. She called days later, asking why strangers were measuring the windows. Original post. 38 male. Need to get this off my chest because the past 2 weeks have been absolutely insane. The house. Let me start there because that's important. Bought it 7 years ago before I got married. Put down $85,000 from selling my previous condo, plus inheritance from my grandfather. Mortgage in my name only. Title in my name only. My wife, 36, moved in after we got married 5 years ago, but I never added her to anything. Not out of malice, just never got around to it since it was my house before her. She never pushed for it either. 2 weeks ago, Thursday night around 8 p.m., we've been arguing on and off for months. Stupid stuff mostly. Me working too much, her spending too much, the usual. But it had been building. That night, it exploded over something completely dumb. I can't even remember what started it. Dishes? TV remote? Who cares? She was yelling. I was yelling. Then she hit me with it. "You know what? If you walk out that door right now, don't you dare come back. I'm serious. Leave." I stopped. Looked at her. She was red-faced, shaking with anger, pointing at the door. "You mean that?" I asked. Calm voice. "Yes. Get out. I can't do this anymore." Understood. Grabbed my keys, wallet, phone. Walked out. She kept yelling behind me, but I was done listening. Drove to a hotel about 20 minutes away. Checked in. Sat on the bed. Then it hit me. She told me not to come back. Specifically told me to leave. In my house. That's legally mine. Okay then. Called my buddy, who's a real estate lawyer. Left a voicemail. Need to talk ASAP about selling my house. It's urgent. He called back at 10 p.m. "Dude, what's going on?" Explained the situation. He asked if I was sure. Told him, yeah, I'm sure. She literally told me to get out and not come back. He said he'd make some calls in the morning. Blocked my wife's number that night. Clean break like she wanted. Friday morning, my lawyer buddy connected me with an investor he knew who bought houses for cash. Quick sales, no inspection needed for the right price. We met for coffee at 11 a.m. "How fast can we close?" I asked. "For cash? 10 days if you're motivated. I'd offer $380,000. Market value is probably $420,000, but you're saving time, no realtor fees, no showings, no hassle." I'd paid $310,000 for it 7 years ago. Still owed about $180,000 on a mortgage. Walking away with $200,000 cash after she told me to leave? Deal. Let's do the paperwork. Signed the purchase agreement right there. He'd handle everything, title company, all of it. Close date, 10 days from Friday. The following Monday. My wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, was still living in the house. I didn't tell her anything. She wanted me gone? I was gone. What happened to the house was none of her concern. It was mine. Saturday, Sunday went by. I ignored the unknown numbers calling me. Figured it was her using other phones. I was at the hotel, working remotely, just existing in this weird limbo. Monday, day 4, my lawyer buddy called. "Hey, so the title company needs to schedule an inspection and appraisal. They'll be there Wednesday around 2 p.m. Just wanted to give you a heads up in case your wife is home." Not my problem. House is in my name. Let them do what they need to do. Wednesday afternoon, I'm at a coffee shop working on my laptop. Unknown number calls. I almost don't answer, but something tells me to. What the hell is going on? My wife. Screaming. There are people in my house. With clipboards. Measuring things. Taking pictures. They said you sold the house. Are you insane? I sold my house, yes. You told me to leave and not come back. I left. It's my house, my decision. You can't just sell the house while I'm living in it. Actually, I can. It's solely in my name. You should probably start looking for a new place. Closing is Monday. New owners take possession Tuesday. You are out of your mind. I'm calling a lawyer. Good idea. You should do that. Hung up. Blocked that number too. The closing happened exactly on schedule. Showed up at the title company Monday at 3 p.m. Signed papers. Walked out with a check for $198,450 after all fees and paying off the mortgage. My phone had 15 voicemails from various numbers. Didn't listen to any of them. Tuesday morning, the new owners were scheduled to take possession at 9 a.m. I wasn't there. Didn't need to be. But my lawyer buddy texted me at 9:37 a.m. Dude, your ex is refusing to leave. The buyers are there with a sheriff's deputy. This is wild. She refused to leave. The entitlement was unreal. Update 1. 1 week after closing. The sheriff's deputy forcibly removed her Tuesday morning. Took 3 hours because she kept arguing, screaming about her rights, how this was illegal, how I couldn't do this to her. The deputy told her repeatedly, house isn't in her name, new owners have legal possession, she needs to leave or be arrested for trespassing. She left. Finally, crying and screaming threats the whole way. The new owners were apparently very patient. My lawyer buddy said they were shaking their heads, but trying to stay professional. They'd bought rental properties before, dealt with squatters, so this wasn't totally new to them. My soon-to-be ex moved in with her mom. I know this because her mom called me Wednesday from her phone. I answered by accident, thinking it was work-related. How dare you do this to my daughter? Ma'am, your daughter told me to leave my house and not come back. I complied and sold my house. Simple as that. She didn't mean it literally. She was upset. This is abuse. Abuse is me selling my own house that was in my name before I married her. Interesting definition. You left her homeless. She's living with you. She's not homeless. And she told me to leave. She got what she wanted. You'll be hearing from her lawyer. She's going to sue you. Looking forward to it. Hung up. Blocked her mom's number. Thursday, I got served with papers. Emergency restraining order request, an emergency motion for temporary spousal support, and a lawsuit claiming I fraudulently sold marital property. Met with my own lawyer, a different one, divorce specialist. She reviewed everything. Did you buy the house before marriage? Yes. 7 years before. Is her name on the title or mortgage? No, nothing. Did she contribute to the mortgage payments? From her part-time job? Maybe indirectly through groceries or utilities, but I paid the mortgage from my account every month. I can prove it. My lawyer smiled. She has no case on the house. But the support thing, that might have legs depending on income disparity. How much do you make versus her? I'm in software, pull about $140,000. She works retail, maybe $28,000 part-time. Yeah, she'll probably get temporary support while the divorce is pending. But the house, she's got nothing. You own it outright before marriage. In most states, that's separate property. You were legally entitled to sell it. The restraining order hearing was Friday. She showed up with her mom and her new lawyer. Told the judge I was financially abusing her and she feared for her safety. My lawyer presented the facts. House purchased by me 7 years before marriage. Title, solely in my name. She told me to leave and not come back. I left, sold my separate property, all legal. No threats made, no contact initiated by me since I left. She's living with her mother, not in danger. Judge asked my wife directly, "Ma'am, did you tell your husband to leave?" She hesitated. "Yes, but I didn't mean." "Did you tell him not to come back?" "Yes." "And was the house purchased by him before marriage?" Her lawyer jumped in. "Your Honor, she has an equitable interest." "Counselor, I'm asking simple questions. Was it purchased before marriage?" "Yes, but..." "Then he was entitled to sell his separate property. The restraining order is denied. There's no evidence of threats or abuse, just a man who took his wife's words at face value." We walked out. Her mom was yelling something about technicalities and heartless bastards. The temporary support hearing was the following Wednesday. Judge ordered me to pay $1,800 per month until the divorce was finalized. Annoying but expected. My lawyer said it was actually on the lower end given the income disparity. But here's where it gets interesting. My wife decided to go nuclear. She'd been staying at her mom's, but apparently that wasn't going well. They were fighting. Her mom was charging her rent. The reality of her situation was setting in. She started calling my job. Not my direct line. I blocked her. But she called the main office number, trying to get through to me. Told the receptionist it was an emergency. Receptionist put her through to my voicemail. She left messages. "You OWE me. That house was OURS. I lived there for 5 years. You're going to pay for this. My lawyer says you'll have to split the sale proceeds. Why are you doing this? We can fix this. Just call me back. I forwarded them all to my lawyer. She sent a cease and desist letter to my wife's lawyer. Then my wife showed up at my hotel. I've been living there for 3 weeks at this point, planning to find an apartment once the dust settled. She somehow found out which one. Friday evening, 7 p.m., I'm coming back from dinner. She's in the lobby. Sees me. Starts running over. We need to talk. No, we don't. Everything goes through lawyers. Please, just 5 minutes. No. I kept walking toward the elevators. She followed. You can't just ignore me. We're still married. For now. Not for long. That house was supposed to be OURS. We were supposed to raise kids there. I stopped. Turned around. You told me to leave and not come back. That's not how people who want to raise kids together talk to each other. You made your choice. I made mine. I was angry. People say things when they're angry. Then you should have thought before you spoke. I took you at your word. Elevator opened. I got in. She tried to follow. I put my hand up. Don't. Hotel security is right there. You're not a guest. You're harassing me. Leave. Doors closed. Watched her through the closing gap, standing there with her mouth open. Went to my room. Called hotel security. Explained my estranged wife was in the lobby and might cause problems. They said they'd keep an eye out. An hour later, hotel manager called my room. Sir, your wife is in the parking lot. She's been sitting in her car for 45 minutes. We can't make her leave the parking lot since it's semi-public, but we wanted you to know. Thanks for the heads up. She sat there until 11 p.m. I watched from my window. Finally drove away. Update 2, 6 weeks after closing. Things escalated in ways I didn't expect. My wife hired a new lawyer. Better one, apparently. They filed an amended complaint claiming I'd constructively evicted her and demanding half the sale proceeds, $100,000. The legal theory was that even though the house was in my name, she had an equitable interest due to living there during the marriage and contributing to household expenses. Her lawyer argued that selling it while she lived, there was a calculated move to deprive her of that interest. My lawyer wasn't worried. It's creative, but it won't work. She didn't contribute to the down payment. She's not on the title, and you bought it pre-marriage. But we'll need to fight it. More lawyer fees. Great. But that wasn't even the worst part. My wife started telling everyone, and I mean everyone, that I'd kicked her out of her house and stolen her home from her. Social media wasn't an option because I'd blocked her and had everything locked down. But she went old school. She called my parents, told them I was financially abusing her. My mom actually believed her at first. Honey, did you really sell the house while she was living there? That seems cruel. Mom, she told me to leave and never come back. In the house I bought before I even met her. What was I supposed to do? But you could have talked to her. No, Mom. She made a choice. I respected it. The house was mine. She has no legal claim to it. It took a couple of days, but my parents eventually came around after I sent them the full timeline and legal documents. Her friends started leaving me voicemails and texts on various numbers I hadn't blocked yet. The messages range from "you're trash" to "how could you do this to her" to "karma will get you." Blocked them all. But here's where my wife really showed her true colors. She filed a complaint with my employer, claimed I was harassing her and creating a hostile environment through my financial abuse. My HR department had to investigate. I met with HR, brought my lawyer, presented the full timeline. Her telling me to leave, me selling my premarital property, her refusing to leave when new owners took possession, sheriff's deputy removing her, her calling my workplace repeatedly, her showing up at my hotel. HR cleared me completely. The rep actually said, "Sir, it sounds like you're the one being harassed." They sent a formal letter to my wife telling her to cease all contact with my workplace or they pursue legal action. That's when she went for the nuclear option. Remember how I said I'd paid the mortgage from my personal account every month? Well, she got access to our old bank statements. We'd had a joint checking account for household expenses that I closed after I left. Her lawyer subpoenaed the records. They tried to argue that since we'd both deposited money into that joint account, and I'd occasionally transferred money from that joint account to my personal account to cover the mortgage, she'd indirectly paid the mortgage. It was a huge stretch. My lawyer demolished it in depositions. How much did your client contribute monthly to the joint account? About $800. And how much did my client contribute? About $3,200. And what was the mortgage payment? $1,650 per month. So even if we accept your theory that the joint account paid the mortgage, which we don't, since the payments came from my client's personal account, your client only contributed 20% of the joint funds. At most, she paid $330 per month toward a house she didn't own. That's rent. People pay rent to live places they don't own. Her lawyer tried to salvage it. Your client deprived my client of her housing. Your client told my client to leave his house and never return. He complied. She created her own housing crisis. The deposition went nowhere for her. Meanwhile, I'd moved into a decent one-bedroom apartment. Used about $30,000 of the house sale proceeds for first/last/deposit and furniture. Put the rest in savings and investments. I wasn't going to buy another house until the divorce was completely finalized. My wife was apparently spiraling. Her mom kicked her out after 2 months of fighting. She moved in with a friend. That lasted 2 weeks before the friend got tired of her complaining and asked her to leave. Last I heard, she was renting a room in someone's house for $900 per month. My $1,800 in temporary support was covering her rent and basics, but she'd gone from living in a nice house to a single room. The victim narrative intensified. Every mutual friend got her sob story. I'd ruined her life. I'd stolen her home. I'd abused her. Most people saw through it, especially when they asked questions and learned the full truth. But some believed her. Lost a few acquaintances. Didn't care. Real friends stuck around. Her latest stunt, she tried to file a police report claiming I'd stolen items from the house when I sold it. Specifically, she claimed I'd taken appliances and furniture that were hers. The police called me. I explained the situation, offered to provide the title showing I owned the house and had every right to sell it with its contents. Officer said he'd close the report. Sir, this sounds like a civil matter in a divorce. We're not going to pursue this, but you might want to document everything. Your wife seems persistent. Yeah, that's one word for it. Final update, 4 months after closing. The divorce finalized last week. Took 4 months of legal back and forth, but it's done. Final settlement. I kept 100% of the house sale proceeds. Judge ruled it was separate property purchased pre-marriage. I have to pay her alimony for 2 years at $1,500 per month. Less than the temporary support, but still annoying. Judge said it was to help her get on her feet. We split the joint checking account balance, about $3,800, 50/50ths. She got her car, which she'd paid off herself. I kept mine. Each paid our own legal fees. Her lawyer tried everything. Brought up the constructive eviction argument again. Tried to claim I'd hidden assets. Tried to get more alimony. Nothing worked. Judge was pretty clear in the final hearing. The house was purchased by the husband 7 years before the marriage. The wife is not on the title or mortgage. The husband paid the mortgage from his personal account. The fact that the wife lived there during the marriage does not create an ownership interest. As for the sale of the property, while the timing was unfortunate, the husband was legally entitled to sell his separate property. The wife told him to leave. He left. That's not abuse, that's compliance. Her lawyer tried to interrupt. Judge shut her down. Counselor, your client told her husband to leave and not return. He took her at her word. She doesn't get to claim surprise when he did exactly what she told him to do. The court finds no evidence of fraud, abuse, or misconduct. The husband is entitled to the full proceeds of his separate property sale. My ex-wife cried in the courtroom. Her mom was there, glaring at me the whole time. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, nothing. Just tired. After the judge signed the final order, her lawyer tried one last thing. Your Honor, my client has nowhere to live. She's renting a room month to month. Surely the court can order. Counselor, your client had somewhere to live. She told her husband to leave it. The consequences of her words are not this court's concern. Alimony is ordered. That's the extent of the husband's obligation. We're done here. Walking out of the courthouse, my ex tried to approach me. Her lawyer held her back, whispering something to her. I left. Didn't look back. The fallout. My ex moved 2 hours away to live near some college friend who offered her a cheaper living situation. Heard she got a different job, something full-time at least. Don't know details, don't care. Her mom sent me one final text from a new number I hadn't blocked. I hope you're proud of yourself. You destroyed my daughter's life. Replied, your daughter told me to leave my house. I left. She destroyed her own life. Blocked the number. Lost touch with most of the mutual friends. They chose sides. I didn't fight for them. My real friends knew the full story and stuck around. Financial reality. Yeah, I walked away with $200,000 from a house sale. After lawyer fees, $18,000, moving costs, new furniture, and setting up my apartment, I'm sitting on about $160,000. Invested most of it, keeping some liquid for emergencies. The alimony hurts, $1,500 per month for 2 years is $36,000 total. But it is what it is. I make good money. I'll be fine. Am I happy? Not really. Divorce sucks even when you're in the right. I'm not celebrating. I'm just existing. Moving forward. What I learned. Words matter. When you tell someone to leave and never come back, you better be prepared for them to actually do it. My ex-wife thought she could say whatever she wanted in the heat of the moment, and I'd just take it. She thought the house was ours because she lived there, regardless of whose name was on the title. She thought she could bully and threaten and manipulate her way back. She was wrong on all counts. The house was mine. Legally, financially, completely mine. I wasn't on the title, technically. I was on the title, actually. That's not semantics. That's the law. Could I have handled it differently? Maybe talk to her, try to work it out? Sure. But why? She told me to get out of my own house. She disrespected me in my own home and demanded I leave. So I left. And I took my house with me. Current status. Living in a nice one-bedroom apartment. It's smaller than the house, but it's mine. No one telling me what to do, where to go, or to get out. Peaceful. Work is good. Got a promotion, actually. The lack of home drama meant I could focus more on my projects. Dating? Hell no. Not even thinking about it. Trust issues are real. Therapist says that's normal and to take my time. My parents check in weekly. They're supportive now that they understand the full story. Dad actually said, son, you did what you had to do. She told you to leave. You left. Simple as that. Mom still thinks I should have tried to work it out, but she's not pushing it anymore. To anyone reading this, if your partner tells you to leave, threatens you, gives you ultimatums, take them seriously. They're showing you who they are. Believe them. I owned that house 7 years before I even met my ex. It was my safety net, my investment, my property. She lived there as my guest during our marriage. The second she told me to get out, she lost any claim to my grace. The entitlement throughout this whole process was unreal. From thinking she could stay in a house she didn't own after I sold it, to trying to claim half the proceeds, to filing false police reports and workplace complaints, she did everything possible to paint herself as the victim. But facts are facts. Title is title. Law is law. She gambled that I wouldn't call her bluff when she told me to leave. She lost. I'm not proud of how it went down. I'm not thrilled I had to sell a house I liked. I'm not celebrating her struggles. But I don't regret taking her at her word. She wanted me gone. I went. And yeah, I took my house with me. Because it was mine to take. That's the whole story. Divorce is final. I'm moving on. She's moving on. Life goes on. To everyone who said I was too harsh or should have been more forgiving, I hear you. But I also remember standing in my own home being told to get out and never come back. That's not something you say to someone you love. That's not something you take back with an apology. She made her choice. I made mine. The courts agree with my choice. That's all that matters. Time to actually move forward now. No more updates needed. This chapter is closed.